In 1973, a group of college students were camping in the land between the lakes when one of them returned from the woods visibly shaken. He said something was watching him from the darkness. Later that night, the group began hearing movement circling their campsite. Then came a series of howls unlike anything they'd ever heard. Part wolf, part something else entirely. They spotted glowing red eyes moving behind trees. Spooked, they piled into their Volkswagen bus and hauled ass. But that wasn't the end of it. A massive figure chased them through the woods and out onto the road. Seconds later, the vehicle lurched violently like it had been rear-ended. When they finally reached safety, they discovered 4 deep claw marks gouged into the rear of the bus. I'm Uncle Perry. I don't just tell stories, I dig up the fucked up ones most folks are too chicken shit to talk about. And I do it in a cavalier kind of way. When it comes to cryptids, I chase down the truth behind the legends. Today, we're diving into Kentucky's darkest legends. From a massive beast stalking the land between the lakes, to bulletproof goblins, woodboogers, and other fucked up creatures witnesses swear they saw with their own eyes. Oh hell yeah! It's post time, baby! It's time to crack a frosty one, kick your feet up, and let's fucking get it! Oh hell yeah! It's post time, baby! It's time to crack a frosty one, kick your feet up, and let's get it! Beast of Land Between the Lakes. The Beast of the Land Between the Lakes, LBL, is one of Kentucky's most terrifying cryptids. Said to roam the forest of the LBL National Recreation Area along the Tennessee-Kentucky border, it's often described as a dogman, a monstrous half-man, half-wolf, standing over 7 feet tall. Witnesses describe a lean but muscular creature covered in dark fur, with a wolf-like snout, massive jaws, glowing eyes, and 5-fingered hands tipped with long fucking claws. Many also report a foul odor resembling a wet dog and decay. One theory about the beast's origins involves an isolated family that lived in the region during the 1800s. According to the lore, generations of isolation and a hereditary curse caused them to become increasingly savage and animal-like before vanishing entirely. Skeptics claim there's no evidence supporting the story, but folks in the area continue to state that it's true. Reports of wolf-like creatures in the LBL stretch back centuries, including warnings from early explorers, stories of missing hunters, and mutilated animal carcasses discovered hanging in tree limbs. The craziest encounter occurred in 1973 when a group of Murray State University students were camping in the LBL recreation area. As darkness settled in over their campsite, one of the young men returned from taking a piss, visibly shaken. He said something had been watching him and He said something had been watching him, and he heard heavy sniffing nearby. His friends laughed it off at first, but shit changed after sunset. The group began hearing something large moving through the leaves around their campsite. Whatever it was sounded like it was circling them. Then came the fucked up howling. They all described it as louder than any wolf, with a strange quality that sounded almost like mocking laughter. Shortly after, the campers began spotting flashes of glowing red eyes moving in and out of the darkness. Deciding they'd had enough of that crazy shit, they piled into their Volkswagen bus and sped away. Well, as much as you can in a fucking VW bus. As they rumbled away, pounding the seats and screaming, "Go, go, go!" a massive, hairy blur chased them through the woods and onto the road. They could clearly see the red glow of the taillights on its face through the back glass. At one point, the vehicle jolted forward violently, as if something had rammed it from behind. They all simultaneously screamed. Eventually, they finally reached safety a few miles down the road. They got out to check the damage. To their amazement, they discovered 4 deep claw marks gouged into the trunk of the rear engine compartment. Another fucked up encounter centers on a family camping in the area during the 1980s. According to the legend, authorities discovered a horrific scene inside the family's RV. The occupants had been torn apart, and evidence at the scene suggested a violent animal attack. A young girl's remains were later found lodged several feet up a nearby tree. Officials later ruled the incident as a wild animal attack. While no official records have ever confirmed it as a dogman attack, believers continue to point to it as evidence that something dangerous as fuck inhabits the LBL forest. A third encounter comes from a veteran bow hunter in the early 2000s. While up in a tree stand before dawn, he heard heavy bipedal footsteps moving through the brush. Then, he smelled an overpowering odor of wet fur and death. Looking down, he saw a massive, upright creature covered in dark, matted fur, standing directly beneath his stand. The creature looked up at him, tilted its head like it was puzzled, and then began slowly climbing the tree. The hunter remained frozen in fear, totally fucking bricking it. The creature suddenly stopped, dropped to the ground, and fucked off into the woods. He later found deep claw marks on the side of his truck. Needless to say, he never returned to hunt in that area again. Skeptics argue that sightings of the beast are likely misidentifications of bears, coyotes, or other wildlife seen under poor conditions. Others believe the stories have been exaggerated over time or fueled by local folklore and internet legends. Believers disagree. Some researchers suggest the beast could be an undiscovered species of large predator, while others think it represents a true dogman, a creature that falls somewhere between human and wolf. Whatever the explanation, accounts of the beast of the land between the lakes continue to circulate. And for many locals, something still feels very wrong in those woods after dark. Hopkinsville Goblins. One of Kentucky's strangest and most famous cryptid encounters didn't involve some smelly asshole lurking in the woods. Instead, it involved a group of small, bizarre creatures that terrorized an entire family for hours. The story began on the night of August 21st, 1955, near the tiny community of Kelly, just outside Hopkinsville, Kentucky. The Sutton family and several guests were gathered at a farmhouse when a young man named Billy Ray Taylor reported seeing a bright object streak across the sky and land somewhere beyond the property. At first, nobody paid much attention to it. Hell, they figured he'd probably just seen a shooting star or something. A little later, things got fucked. While getting some water outside from the pump, Billy Ray and an older adult family member spotted a small creature approaching the house from the darkness. Witnesses described it as roughly 3 feet tall with oversized eyes that glowed, long arms ending in claw-like hands, and large-ass pointed ears. They described it as silver or metallic looking. The creature continued moving toward the house. Thinking the little fucker was some kind of a threat, Billy Ray grabbed a shotgun while the other man grabbed a pistol. Because what else would you do? As the creature approached, they opened fire. According to the witnesses, the blast should have dropped it instantly. Instead, the creature flipped backwards, got back up, and disappeared into the darkness, completely unharmed. At that point, a collective "oh shit" started settling in. Over the next several hours, more creatures appeared around the farmhouse. Family members saw them peering through the windows, climbing onto the roof, and lurking in the nearby trees. Every time one appeared, somebody would fire at it. And every goddamn time, the same fucking thing happened. The bullets seemed to have little or no effect. One witness reported shooting a creature that was perched in a tree branch. Instead of it falling dead, it simply floated or drifted to the ground before disappearing. Another creature reached down from the roof toward a family member who stepped outside. He lit its ass up, and it seemed to float away and land on a fence post 100 yards away. As the night dragged on, the terrified group remained trapped inside the farmhouse, watching strange figures move around their property. Around 11 p.m., the whole group piled into 2 vehicles and busted ass to the Hopkinsville police to report what the fuck was going on. The sight of multiple badly frightened adults and crying children arriving at the police station all at once got everyone's attention pretty fucking fast. Police officers, sheriffs, deputies, state troopers, hell, even the military police from nearby Fort Campbell and several reporters soon returned to the farmhouse to investigate. It was total fucking pandemonium. What they found only deepened the mystery. The officers found no creatures. However, they did find evidence that something very unusual had happened. The house showed signs of heavy gunfire coming from inside the house. Bullet holes and broken glass were scattered around the property. The witnesses remained visibly shaken and continued insisting that the creatures had surrounded their home. The authorities searched the area and discovered a green glowing substance on the ground in several spots around the property and a green slime running down a fence post about 100 yards away. Samples were taken by federal agents, but the findings were ultimately inconclusive. Of course they were. After the police and everybody left, members of the family stated the creatures returned again later that same night. By morning, the story had blown up across newspapers throughout the country. Reporters flocked to Kelly. The bizarre visitors quickly became known as the Hopkinsville Goblins. In the years that followed, armchair quarterback skeptics proposed the family had mistaken great horned owls for the strange creatures. Right. Others argued stress, darkness, alcohol, excitement, or any combination may have contributed to the fucked up reports. Believers ain't convinced. They point out that multiple witnesses had the exact same description for the creatures. It was never fully explained why so many people seemed genuinely terrified that night. Nearly 70 years later, the Hopkinsville Goblins remain one of the most famous crossover of cryptid and UFO-related encounters in American history. Whether the Sutton family encountered extraterrestrials, an unknown creature, or simply misidentified something in the dark, one thing is for sure. Something scared the absolute fucking shit out of everyone in that farmhouse. Kentucky Woodbooger. No list of Kentucky cryptids would be complete without the Woodbooger, aka Bigfoot. Reports of large, hairy-ass, human-like creatures have come from the heavily forested mountains of eastern Kentucky for years. One of the strangest reports came from a farmer near Blaine in August 2015. Living alone on a 200-acre farm in the Appalachian foothills, he reported bizarre activity had been occurring for months. It began with strange screams that sounded almost human, followed by odd whooping sounds, unlike any local animal. While working in his garden, basketball-sized rocks repeatedly rolled down the hillside toward him. Whenever he looked up at the hill, the activity stopped. When he went back to work, it started up again. Later, while splitting firewood, pebbles struck the tin roof of his carport. One night, he heard a blood-curdling scream from a nearby ridge, followed by a loud hoo-hoo call. He also found a large, barefoot-looking track near a rotten log and a tree structure made from heavy branches piled unnaturally. Even though he never saw the creature, he was convinced something was watching him from the woods. A much more dramatic encounter occurred near Hyden during Kentucky's black powder deer season in 2006. A hunter was hiking nearly 3 miles into the mountains before daylight when he spotted two sets. Oh, fuck me. A hunter was hiking nearly 3 miles into the mountains before daylight when he spotted two sets of glowing red-orange eyes in tall grass. Assuming they were bears, he continued on. Hours later, while sitting on a large rock waiting for deer, a 2-foot-long stick suddenly flew toward him. Turning around, he saw a huge black-brown ape-like creature crouched about 50 yards away. Thinking it was a prank, he told it to fuck off. The creature grabbed another stick and charged him. The hunter fired his muzzleloader in front of it as a warning. It immediately stopped, retreated uphill, and let out a deep grunt. Moments later, a smaller creature emerged from nearby brush, making a sound halfway between a baby crying and a woman screaming. The pair vanished into the wilderness. The hunter hauled ass, leaving his gear behind. When he returned the next day, his backpack was ripped to shit and all the food was eaten, while non-food items remained untouched. The third encounter took place in Rowan County in 2012. After receiving a phone call from relatives who had heard strange screams in the area, a witness stepped onto his porch to listen. While standing outside, he noticed movement behind a large pine tree in his yard. Then a massive figure slowly peeked around the trunk. The witness said he and the creature locked eyes. It stepped further into view, revealing a barrel-chested figure covered in long brown hair. It was very tall. Freaked the fuck out, he ran inside but continued watching through the doorway. Brave man. The creature remained motionless for a moment before crossing the road and disappearing into the darkness. Later, measurements suggested a height of roughly 10 feet 2 inches, and a 17-inch footprint was found nearby. Whatever folks are encountering in Kentucky's forests is no bullshit. Whether it's an undiscovered animal, a misidentification, or something seriously fucked up, the Woodbooger remains one of the state's most mysterious cryptids. Pope Lake Monster. Few Kentucky cryptids are as infamous as the Pope Lake Monster. According to legend, this bizarre creature lurks near Pope Lake Creek outside Louisville, and that is the way you pronounce it. Witnesses describe it as a twisted human-animal hybrid, usually with the body of a man and the head and legs of a goat. Some reports claim it stands upright, while others say it moves on all fours. The creature is said to haunt the Pope Lake train trestle, a towering railroad bridge spanning Pope Lake Creek. Let's just say the trestle has earned a pretty fucking dark reputation over the years. One frequently repeated account involves several teenagers exploring the area at night. They reported seeing a tall, goat-headed figure standing beneath the bridge. According to the witnesses, the creature remained motionless before stepping into the shadows and vanishing. The eyewitnesses hauled ass out of there and later described it as having horns and an unnaturally human posture. Variations of this account have circulated among Louisville locals for decades. Another commonly reported encounter involves folks hearing strange cries near the trestle before spotting a large humanoid figure moving along the edge of the tracks. They said it disappeared into the brush before they could get a better look. The legend has become so famous that people regularly venture onto the trestle looking for the asshole. In 2016, one person searching for the Pope Lake Monster was killed by an oncoming train while her companion survived only by hanging from the side of the bridge as the train thundered overhead. Skeptics argue the Pope Lake Monster is simply an urban legend fueled by folklore, misidentifications, and the eerie atmosphere surrounding the trestle. Shadows, wildlife, and the power of suggestion can make ordinary sights seem terrifying after dark. Believers have a different take. Some say the creature is a circus freak that escaped after a train wreck. Others believe it's a farmer transformed by dark rituals involving goats. Some describe it as a demon capable of hypnosis, voice mimicry, and luring victims toward danger, while others insist it's a flesh and blood goat man cryptid. Whatever the explanation, the Pope Lake Monster remains one of Kentucky's most fucked up enduring legends. Hellhound of Pike County. Deep in the coal country of eastern Kentucky, stories persist about a creature known as the Hellhound of Pike County. This terrifying beast is described as a gigantic black dog prowling along remote mountain. This terrifying beast is described as a gigantic black dog prowling alongside remote mountain roads and around abandoned mining communities. Witnesses state that the creature is much larger than any normal dog, with a muscular build, jet black fur, and glowing red eyes that seem to burn in the darkness. According to local folklore, seeing the Hellhound is a very bad sign. Many believe the creature is an omen of death, disaster, or tragedy. Some stories say it appears shortly before mining accidents, fatal car crashes, or other fuckiness. Folks describe hearing heavy footsteps behind them at night, only to turn around and find a massive-ass black canine standing silently on the road. In several accounts, the creature simply stares at witnesses before disappearing into the darkness without making a sound. Over the years, several reports have surfaced from hunters, miners, and late-night travelers who reported they encountered an enormous black dog that couldn't be identified. Some witnesses say the creature is supernatural, appearing and vanishing without leaving tracks behind. Skeptics argue that the legend likely stems from misidentified dogs, bears, low visibility, and the eerie atmosphere of Kentucky's mountain backroads. Believers, however, think something far stranger is at work. They state the Hellhound is a supernatural entity, a spirit tied to the region's tragic history that still prowls the hills of Pike County. More Kentucky monsters. As strange as Kentucky's most famous cryptids are, they ain't the only monsters said to roam the bluegrass state. Hell no! Kentucky's cryptid lore includes other strange fuckers that didn't make today's list. Here's a few honorable mentions. The Wampus Cat, usually described as a massive feline with glowing eyes, the creature is said to stalk forests and mountains of Appalachia. Depending on the legend, it's either a supernatural beast, a cursed human, or an unknown predator slipping through the cracks for generations. Then there's the knot deer. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary deer, but witnesses realize something is seriously fucked up. Reports describe deer with oddly shaped limbs, forward-facing eyes, or walking on their hind legs. Folks say the creature gives off a feeling that something ain't right. Kentucky also has stories of the devil monkey, a large, baboon-like creature seen throughout the Ohio River Valley. Witnesses describe a muscular primate with long arms, sharp teeth, and a bad fucking attitude. Reports state the creature chases vehicles. That's chased. Reports state Reports state the creature chased vehicles and people from the woods. And finally, there are cave creatures. Deep beneath Kentucky lies Mammoth Caves, one of the world's largest cave systems. Legends claim it's home to pale, rake-like humanoids. Witnesses describe gaunt creatures with elongated limbs, sunken eyes, ghostly skin, terrifying cavers in total darkness. Whether these creatures are undiscovered animals, misidentifications, or campfire stories that got way the fuck out of hand, they add to Kentucky's reputation as one of America's strangest states for cryptid lore. And that's Kentucky for you. A place where the woods get too quiet at night. The caves go deeper than they should. And people still swear they've seen shit that doesn't belong in this world. From the beast of land between the lakes, to goblins, goatmen, hellhounds, and whatever the fuck not deer is, these encounters keep piling up whether anyone believes them or not. Some are misidentifications, some are folklore stretched over time, and some might just be fear in the dark. But when enough people from different places tell similar stories, you start wondering what the fuck they're seeing. Stay safe out there. Do not wander Kentucky backroads at night. And if something's watching from the trees, don't stick around to find out what the fuck it is. Leave. Do you like weird-ass monsters? Then tap that like button and subscribe. That way, you won't miss out on more of my fucked up commentary. And besides, I really do appreciate it. If you were out in the Kentucky woods at night and saw red glowing eyes staring at you from the darkness, what do you think you'd do? Run? Freeze? Get closer to check it out? Or rack one in the chamber? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you're ready to crank that shit all the way up to 11, that join button's got your name on it. For just $2.99, you could have my back in a huge fucking way. Until next time, y'all keep it real, keep it chill, and stay creepy! We'll catch you on the flip. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. You are the real beast.